Okay, so this is a factor by grouping example. So factoring a trinomial using factor by grouping. You want to use this whenever your a value is not 1. Okay, well, this is one of the methods you could use when your a value is not 1. Okay, so this is the method I showed in class. If you don't like doing the guess check, or if you think it's, trying every single example is going to take too long, you could use this method, factor by grouping. Okay, so in factor by grouping, it's kind of like using product sum, where you're trying to find two numbers that multiply to something and add to another number. The numbers you need in this case is you need to multiply a times c. Okay, so we're looking for numbers that multiply to 6 times 15, which is 90. And we're looking for numbers that also add to the middle term, which is 19. Okay. So what multiplies to 90 and adds to 19? Okay. Well, we could list out all the factors of 90. Okay. If you could think of the two numbers right away, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. We got 1 and 90, 2 and 45, 3 and 30. No, 4 doesn't work. 5 and 5 and 18. 6 and 15. Okay. 9 and 10. Okay. So out of all these options, which ones also add to 19? Well, it's happened to be the last ones. Okay. 9 and 10. They all multiply to 90, only 9 and 10 add to 19. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 9 and that 10, and we're going to rewrite. So we're going to rewrite the original problem. The original problem had 3 terms. We're going to write it as 4 terms. Because remember, to do factor by grouping, normally we need 4 or more terms. So we're going to start with 6x squared. We're going to leave the first term alone. The second term, the middle term, is going to get split up. Okay. So we're going to rewrite the second term as 9x plus 10x. Okay. And the reason we could do that is because 9x plus 10x is 19x. So we're not actually changing the problem. We're making it a little longer. We're expanding it a little bit, which is going to help us later. Okay. And then plus 15 at the end. So the first term and the last terms don't change. Okay. Only thing that changes is the middle term. Middle term gets split up into whichever factor is multiplied to a times c and added to the middle. All right, so now we have 4 terms, and the only way we know how to factor 4 terms is to use factor by grouping. Okay. So we want to group together the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. Okay. Now I did 9x plus 10x. It wouldn't have mattered if I did 10x plus 9x. The order doesn't matter. You will get the same answer in the end. Okay. So if you flip the order of yours, if you did 10x and then 9x, the next couple steps are going to look different, but your final answer should be the same. Okay. So now we do the factor by grouping. Find the GCF of each group. The GCF of the first group 6x squared plus 9x. Okay. The biggest number that goes into 6 and 9 is 3, and each term also has at least 1x. So we'll take out 3x. So now we're going to be left with, 6x squared divided by 3x is 2x. And 9x divided by 3x is 3. Okay. Now go to the second grouping. Okay. Second grouping, 10x and 15. The biggest number that goes into 10 and 15 is 5. And since both terms don't have a variable, we can't take out an x. So we're just going to divide each by 5, which leaves behind 2x plus 3. And oh, hey, look. They're the same. Okay, if you're doing factor by grouping, those should always be the same. Okay. So now that's our new greatest common factor. We're going to factor out 2x plus 3. Okay. And what's left over after you take away 2x plus 3 from each? Well, you're left with a 3x from the first one and a 5 plus 5 from the second. And that is factored. Okay. Now if you want to do quick FOIL to check your work, you can, but you will end up with the original.